mFiles is an enterprise content management system that can be customized to suit your needs. mFiles can be installed on Windows computers and can also be accessed via the web and mobile devices for a zero-footprint cloud application, or a combination of both. The full desktop application is integrated into the Windows Explorer functionality, so it gives users a familiar look and feel for navigation. What you see here is the mFiles home screen when you first log in. mFiles can be a bit of a blank slate as far as structure goes, and is highly customizable to your organization's own documents, data, and processes. If you already have well-established structured requirements, we can configure mFiles in any way that meets your needs. However, we understand that it can be overwhelming at first to start from scratch in a new system, and defining all of the necessary requirements from the ground up can take time. For organizations looking to hit the ground running with some suggested structure and workflows, mFiles offers a solution template that can offer you the best of both worlds. A broad functional design that covers a little bit of everything to use enterprise-wide, while still allowing for necessary customizations to fit your business. The result is an overall shorter time to implementation and thus a quicker turnaround to start reaping the rewards in your investment. The back-office solution template includes some basic building blocks for the many commonly used enterprise functions, such as accounting, HR, contract management, customer relationship management, and project management. We're going to go into a bit more depth on what's special about this particular solution when we start talking about document types and workflows and permissions. But first, we're going to walk through some of the core mFiles functionality and how to navigate around the system. The main workspace offers quick access to a variety of frequently used items, such as documents or items you have recently accessed, items that are assigned to you for completion, and items you have checked out to work on. The Pinned section to the right can be used as a virtual bulletin board for saving links to your own personal collection of items or searches that are most important to you. Shortcuts to these areas are available at the top as you navigate throughout the application, and your workspace is customizable so you can show or hide panels according to your preference. The Browse section contains views, which are pre-configured saved searches that are dynamically updated based on the metadata, also known as assigned properties or keywords, of the documents. Some of these come included with the application, while others are customized based on your requirements. At its core, mFiles document management is based on what it is rather than where it resides in your system. This means you never have to remember where you saved something as long as you know any of its assigned properties or keywords. Let's take a look at an example. Let's say you need to look at someone's employee agreement. There are a few ways to get to it. First, let's take a look in the HR Personnel Documents by Type section. Here we have a listing of different HR document types, and employee agreement is where we want to go. Next, we are presented with a list of employees who have an employee agreement on file, and we need Kimberly's, so we'll go there. And here we have her agreement. Once we click on it, we will see the metadata for this document in the right panel. These are the keywords and properties that allowed us to drill down into the saved search to find her form. Let's talk for a minute about the metadata, or the keyword properties on the documents. The kinds of keyword fields that are available on each document is fully customizable. Some system standard metadata fields, such as created date or last modified, will be applied across the board, while other metadata fields can be applied as necessary. We can even use some built-in intelligence functionality to teach mFiles to recognize certain kinds of documents based on their structure or contents, and suggest additional metadata fields and keywords as documents are being classified. With a few clicks of the mouse, users can add the relevant data rather than spending time typing or searching for values. Let's go back to the home screen. We've seen one way that we can get to Kimberly's employee agreement, but let's look at a different one. This time, we'll go into our HR Personnel Documents by Employee section. This now shows us all of our active employees right off the bat. Here's Kimberly, so we'll go into her file. And here we are seeing all of Kimberly's documents together, because we've started with the employee filter, whereas before we had narrowed our search first to only employee agreement documents. Here's her employee agreement. It's the same document, it's not saved in two different places in the system, it's just two different ways to access it. Let's return to the home screen, and instead of going into any of these saved searches, let's just do a quick keyword search up here in the search bar. It's a lot like Google. You can just type in keywords and mFiles will do the heavy lifting to find this document. So here we have Kimberly's employee agreement, and you'll notice that mFiles has highlighted the keywords in the file name. And if we look over here at the metadata panel, the keywords are highlighted here as well. We can also click on a preview of the document to see a quick HTML version of the file, and you'll see the search terms are highlighted in the contents of the file as well. mFiles will do this for any kind of searchable file type, such as Word or Excel documents, as well as searchable PDFs. As you can see, there are a variety of ways to get to the documents that are important to you. How you access the documents will depend on your own preferences and work styles, and we can customize mFiles to work how you work best. Let's talk about how we add documents and their metadata to mFiles so that you can leverage the relevant data that enables your business processes to run efficiently. Depending on what's most convenient for your users, there are a variety of ways to get documents into the system. We can drag and drop files right into the application. We'll start with classifying the document. This structure is pre-built into the back office solution template. We start with some high-level document groups. Here we have accounting, contract lifecycle management, customer relationship management, HR, and a few others. Then we can narrow down the document classification under each of those groups. And for some categories that are still a bit too broad, we can select an even more specific document type. This type of document structure extends to the other enterprise functions as well. We can also save files directly from within a Microsoft Office program such as Word or Excel or Outlook, since mFiles is fully integrated with the Microsoft Office platform. Or we can create a new file from within mFiles, either from scratch or using a template. Using a template allows us to leverage the keywords we enter on the metadata card to populate that data into the document itself, which eases the burden of data entry on your users. There might be situations, however, where adding documents to mFiles isn't the most logical step to take. Maybe you're excited about using mFiles with your day-forward content, but you're not so excited about having to migrate the years or possibly decades worth of files you have sitting on your network file shares. Built into this solution is the ability to manage documents from within mFiles that are located in an external repository, such as network folders, with no document migration necessary. All we have to do is assign the folder or folders that mFiles will access, and then those files will be accessible to users from within mFiles and can be fully classified, searchable, and routed in workflows without having to access the external repository. Let's talk about some of the other built-in functionality that comes with the Back Office Vault besides document types. Back here on the home screen, we see a list of common views. These come pre-configured in this solution, and we have options that go from Show Me Everything to Show Me Things related to me or my information or my projects, to department-specific views that will bring back very specific documents or objects related to those processes. Not everyone will see all of the views depending on their function. They will only see the views that are applicable to their role. Views can be very handy because you can export data or documents out of them, especially if you need to provide some sort of reporting or audit copies of files to external contacts. In addition to document types, the back office solution also includes a few built-in object types that form relationships with the documents and add yet another layer of organization. Objects in mFiles are simply anything that has a metadata card where you track data for that object. These can be organizations, such as customers, vendors, or leads, people, such as employees or external contacts, physical assets, or data related to a project, CRM, or HR process. When you tie a document to any of these other objects, you'll see that link from object to document and vice versa wherever you go in mFiles, and can easily group documents by those other objects for quick retrieval. Routing documents and other objects through workflows in mFiles can help you work smarter, not harder, by taking advantage of a wide variety of automated routing, notifications, and assignment features. Workflows can be as simple or as complex as they need to be to line up with your business processes, and even streamline them for increased efficiency. Once again, the back office solution gives us some suggested pre-configured workflows to start with. Let's look at the employee absence workflow for an example. This is a workflow that you could use for your employees to request time off, and it will route the request to their supervisor to approve or reject. The workflow starts when an employee creates a new absence object. After entering the required information about the request, and maybe some optional descriptive details, the employee clicks Create. I'm currently listed as Avi's supervisor. Now I see that I have a new assignment waiting for me. It shows up here in my Assigned to Me view, and I will also receive an email notification to alert me. My job is now to review this absence request and make a determination as to whether or not to approve the time off. My options are over here on the task pane. I can either approve or reject and add optional comments. Now the request is no longer assigned to me, and it shows up now in the approved status. The employee receives an email notification that the request was approved. He would also receive a notification if it were rejected. From the approved state, there are options to either cancel the request or move it back into the supervisor approval state if there are changes that would need to be reviewed. This is only one example of the pre-configured workflows that we start with. We also have workflows built in for invoices and accounts payable, purchase orders, document review, project milestone or issue tracking, and contracts lifecycle management, which includes an integration to DocuSign to leverage electronic signatures. The workflows themselves are a suggested starting point and can be especially useful if you don't already have a process in place and you'd like to start using some of these right away. If you already have a process that is similar but doesn't quite match up, we can easily change things like the names of states or transitions, or what the assignment says and who it gets assigned to. If you have a well-defined process already in place that doesn't line up with any of these options, we can always create a workflow from scratch that would be tailor-made for your process. Now that we have documents and other objects configured and working along in processes and workflows, it's important to configure permissions in M-Files to make sure only the right people see the documents and objects they're supposed to see. Let's revisit that workflow we just walked through for the employee absence request. Not only do we want the request to get to the right people as it moves through the workflow, but we want only the right people to be able to view, edit, and move the request along through the various steps. We can look at this latest absence request to see what permissions are being applied. A few different levels of access are being applied here, both at the user group level and on specific metadata for the employee and the employee supervisor. Avi has the ability to see this request, and as his supervisor, I have the same read access. We don't want Avi or his supervisor to edit an already approved request. Meanwhile, HR personnel have some additional permissions to edit, while the HR manager has all that plus the ability to delete it if necessary. This way we can tie down permissions to only those specific users that need to see or interact with this request, and users who are not the employee supervisor, or in the HR department are not going to be able to see this object at all. This back office solution template has already configured permissions in a way that makes sense starting out with the types of workflows and document types available. But just like everything else, we can tweak those or make adjustments as necessary. We'd love to discuss a solution that can benefit your business. Please contact our team if you'd like to know more.